Well, my friends, welcome to the Buckland Museum of Witchcraft and Magic. That's our exploration for today. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. All right, I'm excited to see what's in here. I have really no clue, but it does say, seek out the legendary mystic. Raymond Buckland's Museum of Witchcraft and Magic. Well, this is pretty cool. Basically, the basis of this museum was that there was a man named Raymond Buckland who was kind of looking for some sort of spirituality. He found out about witchcraft, the Wiccan, and got the man who named Wiccan. That's actually Raymond right there, Raymond and his wife. And then this is Raymond Buckland's ceremonial robe. Now basically what he did was he wanted to get into witchcraft. So he traveled to Witch's Mill and met this woman, Monique Wilson. She trained him, and he ended up coming back to the US and opening his own witchcraft museum, and that is the original bumper sticker from it. Now they have all kinds of artifacts in here from his museum, so we're going to check it out. And here's the man that named it Wiccan, Gerald Gardner. And when Raymond expressed interest in wanting to be initiated as a witch or a Wiccan, he came to him and he said, you actually have to go and talk to my high priestess and she will train you. And that's what he ended up doing. He went to Monique. And so in this picture, you've got Gerald Gardner at his estate that he ended up leaving to Monique Williamson in the Isle of Man. And that's where Raymond Buckland was trained, at the Isle of Man. Now they said when Raymond Buckland originally had the idea of doing this museum, he was just going to do like a little basement thing for people that were followers, and then he actually kind of got sucked into thinking like, hey, this could be mainstream. So here was like the very first museum when it was in a house. Now in this case you can see that is a wine jug that they used for ceremonies. And then here's a silver cuff bracelet. His wand, Buckland's ritual wand used in the Long Island Coven in the 19th century. He made that ceremonial helmet, that high priest ceremonial horned helmet, made in 1970s. Then there's rolls of tickets back there from the original Witchcraft Museum in Bayshore, Long Island. He was actually, they said originally, he worked for British Airways, so when he wanted to get trained, he actually went all the way over to Witch's Mill. Look at that. There's some of the ceremonial silverware and Buckland's athame from when he was initiated into the Gardnerian tradition by High Priestess Monique Wilson. That's what that knife is. And then there's Gerald Gardner's wallet. That's the man who named it Wiccan. And the reason they said he called it Wiccan was because he was actually a businessman, and when people would talk about spirituality with him, if he said he was a witch, then they just thought he was like, you know, your classic interpretation of a witch, so gave it a little bit more of a prestige, calling it Wiccan. Now this is a mini cauldron belonging to the leader and teacher of Pectawita, Scottish form of witchcraft. And then Viking ship salt dishes back there. It's very interesting. And then here's some more of the US initiated or initiation knives over here. Now in this case it says in the 1970s a ceremonial magician friend of Buckland's said that he was having his life ruined by a demon in his apartment in Manhattan, and so he said somehow this demon was released. You can see there's a box in there, And it says, so he asked for Raymond Buckland's help to capture this, and it says it took him 3 days to trap the demon in the box through incantations. They said he found a grimoire that helped them trap him, and it says it's not been opened since. Some say if you know the name of the demon, you can control it. Buckland drew this picture of the demon after he had conquered it, but don't say his name aloud, as you will stir that beast inside the box. And that's what the demon looked like. Belphegor. Now this case has more ceremonial chalices and handmade wands. That's what that is right there, which is actually pretty interesting looking. I don't know how much I believe in any of this stuff, but it is interesting to look at. And the reason I'm not really going into detail anymore as to what this stuff is because it all belonged to different people that were part of this, and I don't know who those people were, so telling you their name probably isn't going to mean much if I don't know anything about them. And here they have one of those fortune-telling machines. That is a Swedish Easter witch. Now you can see the hats up there. There you can see a Ouija board.
Okay, well, are you familiar with Buckland?
I've read.
And then in this case, they have all kinds of tarot cards and zodiac things. It says I Ching coins that belong to Aleister Crowley. Wow, that's what those coins are right there. Huh. Aleister Crowley, I just talked about him. He was the one that unveiled Oscar Wilde's tomb. It wasn't because Oscar Wilde was involved in witchcraft or anything, but look at all that. I don't even know what half that is. Fortune-telling dice. Horoscope computer. Then down here you have the Magic 8 Ball. I had one of those at one point. Fortune party game. A home astrology kit. Sybil Leek. This fame is what it's called. Belonged to Sybil Leek's grandmother. Now here's a devilfish given to Buckland by a member of his coven. And it says these are castings by Gerald Gardner for swords. And then down here we have nails from Reverend Paris' home in Salem Village. Wow. Salem witch trials. Check that out. All kinds of sacrificial items. There's a sacrificial troll, it says, with human hair stuck into the back. And then this Pez dispenser looking thing right there is a coffin bank. And then there's a witch scene from Macbeth right in there. And then these are herbs for love attraction. That's a mojo bag, that green one right there. And then they said this is jewelry that they used to sell in Raymond Buckland's museum. And I guess the museum, this museum has been in like 5 different places over time.
And if you have any questions here, Jill should be able to answer what you have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a plaster casting made of a fireplace by Gerald Gardner. All kinds of witches stuff up here. Keychains and dolls and figures, and it says and a theme on the go, so it's a little mini keychain sword. Pentagrams. Wow, it says Thor's hammer pendant made from 10th century Norwegian mold by 3 feathers. And even this museum is getting ready to move as well. So I think it's just to a different building though. And those are all sorcery rings. Some sage. Here are tarot cards. Starman tarot cards. So they're those in particular are David Bowie.
They're for sale. We just don't have no idea what the value is. We're just
Can I see them? I
Yeah,
didn't want
absolutely.
to reach in there if they were.
Now let's check out what's in this cabinet. High Priestess Crescent Moon headdress. And there's a crescent moon back here, pendant. And then there's another ceremonial headdress. And down here, an antique wood carving, it says, with a woman holding a child with another on her back. And there's kind of like a picture of what it should look like. And these are fertility goddesses right there in the corner. Now this is the kind of stuff that Grandpa Munster would have. You've got henbane, black cat bone, Yule fire ashes. Down here's a drinking vessel with claw rings around it. I don't know what that is. And look at that sword. It's a handmade sword and a handmade battle axe type deal. It says it's called a labor, made by Raymond Buckland. There's a bat.
Oh, yeah, so we've expanded, and then we're going to be expanding.
And this says that this sword right here with the handle belonged to Ed Fitch, a creator of the Pagan Way and editor at the Waxing Moon, if you've ever heard of those. And then these are wine jugs, it says, belonging to High Priestess, and a dragon incense burner. And then there's the horned god candle holder and horned god figure right there, as well as that necklace pendant. And that's a really interesting High Priestess ceremonial headpiece made by Raymond Buckland. Now in this case they have a few items owned by Aleister Crowley. A lot of people think it's Crowley because of the way Ozzy Osbourne pronounces it, but they said it's Crowley, so there's a picture of him back there. And then this is his trident wand. You can see it with the 3 spikes. It says belonged to Aleister Crowley in 1929. And then here we have a cornucopia oil lamp that belonged to Aleister Crowley. And here's a ceremonial tripod bowl that belonged to Aleister Crowley. And then we go down here and we've got a horned cigar lighter here in the back. It's kind of interesting. And then down here, it's an inkwell. That's what this black ball thing is. It's an inkwell for a pen. And then we've got Osiris powder here in the yellow. And lamb guitar picks. Then these are Egyptian funeral figurines.
Establishing a pattern, I feel that this museum gets the cream of the crop as far as Cleveland goes. I'll contact
And then if you're in here and you're so interested that you want to learn more, they have a ton of books here for sale that you can buy. And it's a pretty fascinating museum. Problem is, I don't know anything about this, and that's kind of why I came. I was hoping to, you know, kind of see some interesting things, hoping that some of them I recognized, and some things I do kind of get, but some of it's just way over my head. But cool to look at nonetheless.
So, here's Raymond Buckland in the early 80s, wearing that robe.
It's an interesting style of, I guess it looks like a Ouija board. It's that idea. Called it a, it says it's Cardinal Swami's talking board. And we can't leave without looking at a crystal ball. I mean, come on. Looks like it's been activated. And then if you look back here, those are silver pieces of silverware that it says were bent through telekinesis.
No, we've had, but not
They're, I have two, and they're, I bought them for $20 on Amazon a few years ago, and they're now like $400 or $500 per figure.
the other one.
For the U.S.? Because any posters are good.
Well, I think we're gonna call it a day here. We're gonna head back to Dayton and go see the Joster. And some pretty cool merch to pick up on your way out.
Did you ever go to a princess book?
If you're so inclined.
I think it's the one with Timmy Page.
And even a poster.
A lot of people miss that because it's on.
Yeah. Just as I was about to leave, they said, "Did you see the scrying mirror?" And I said, "Never heard of it." And they said, "It basically, if you've seen Snow White, that's what the evil witch is looking into, and it basically acts as a crystal ball. So now you see my face in it." Ooh. And here's an older Raymond Buckland at the opening of the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in 2017 here. Definitely a really interesting experience, but I'll be honest with you, I just didn't know enough, and they were walking around and kind of telling you stories, but there were so many people in there that, you know, they just couldn't give me 100% permanent attention. But if you ever have any interest, definitely come check it out. They know their stuff here, and it's pretty interesting, pretty fascinating place. Well, we're getting there. It was a 3-hour and 15-minute drive back, and we got about a half an hour left. Well, there you are. Did you miss me? You did. I hear your tail flapping. You had fun with Papaw, but you always come back to me, don't you? I'm your buddy, aren't I? Am I your buddy? Am I your buddy? Daddy's boy? They love seeing you, Ja, and I missed you. Well, my friends, I am beat. I need to get some sleep because we're taking off tomorrow. Want to send a big shout out thank you to Michelle Yamamoto, Emmett Bob Mings, Rachel Cornetta, and Nancy Hopple for all making contributions to my channel. Thank you all who help support this channel no matter where I am. I know a lot of people only care about when I'm in Hollywood, and those people have quit donating, and that's fine. I said at the very beginning of this channel, my goal was to see the world and to show you guys as much as I could, and I'm not going to be deterred from that. I hope you've enjoyed everything you've seen here in Ohio. I have a special vlog for you tomorrow too. Even though we're going to fly, I filmed a special one. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you all later, and thank you all for watching. Good night.